Hello, everyone. So we talked about this many, many times, and unfortunately, we have to talk about it again, and we have to talk about it again and again, because it is a stain on society that this level of violence takes place in houses across the country, and we know the abuse, particularly against women, especially in relationships, etc. It's extensive, more than so the men, women against men, and it's insane too. This study that was just done about domestic violence, etc. That 15 women a year take their own lives as a result of domestic violence, which might sound low, but if you've added up for every year, it's a lot of people. And 15 is far too many. One is far too many, let alone 15. And it just goes to show you that a lot of women, and particularly in many cases, do feel let down by the state, by the justice system. And in some cases, they've experienced some very, very bad abuse for years, and nothing is done about it by An Garda Síochána or by the state itself. And unfortunately, many people who are in relationships, etc., are own maybe take for example have a mortgage and paying half of the mortgage and the other half is paying, and then maybe there's a child involved, which makes things even more difficult to try and get separated and work out stuff. And a lot of women particularly can't afford to take for example to leave their house, even though they're in a desperate situation. They can't afford to get a house because there's nowhere for them to go. Take for example in Cavan, even though it's changing now, there will be a domestic violence shelter for women, which is great to see. It's going to take a time before it's built, of course, but what I'm trying to say, there's no place for any woman to go in Cavan. If they have no friends or no family to turn to, there's nowhere for them to go. That's just a simple thing. Even though they're being battered and bruised, etc., there's nowhere for them to go. So it'd be great when that domestic violence shelter is up and going, but it's still going to take a while. As I say, every county should have one. Cavan should have it a long time ago. It's a stain on Cavan that never had it for years, for the last 15 years. There's no place for them to go, and we're only kind of getting around to it now, which is a disgrace. But as I say, 15 women take their own lives as a result of domestic violence. In one case, particularly, just want to mention that the woman was being abused for many, many years, and she simply couldn't take it anymore. She simply couldn't take it anymore, the abuse. Yeah, and a lot of it comes, that's not just even getting hit, etc., violence, etc. Domestic violence, of course, can include just basically controlling the person. There's been many instances in this country, unfortunately, of men taking control of women's basic life, telling them where to go, what they can do, who they can see, who they can talk to. You're controlling their phone, who they can socialize on social media with, what they see on social media, manage their money, take the money off them, etc. It's really cruel stuff. It's really it's really immoral stuff, if you ask me. First of all, but the other thing I want to just talk about is that a lot of women don't come forward about this, and of course it's very frightening to see just the level of abuse. Because I think last year was 15,000 or so cases were reported to the Gardaí in relation to domestic violence. Insane amount of violence against women, particularly majority were women, some were men, of course, that were being abused by their wives or their girlfriends. It has happened. It does happen, not as well as women getting abused, etc. But it is a very sad figure. But as they say in the research, that it could be higher. That we could be talking about 20, 40 women a year taking their own lives. In a lot of these cases, the case that we're talking about here, are very young women too in their 20s and stuff, with their whole life ahead of them. Or because they got with the wrong man or got with the wrong partner, etc. And I say this tend to either you be a man or a woman, that you probably should obviously know your partner, etc., before you're committed to that relationship. Because this is the thing, a lot of people get into relationships nowadays without even knowing the person. The people get into relationships straight away nowadays, compared to years ago. Things were slow, a few dates here and there, and get to know the person. Nowadays people just jump to the occasion, etc. And that's not the right thing, because you need to know what the person's like. Of course they're different behind closed doors. Everybody acts differently, etc. When the public are not watching, etc. But it is extensive, the sheer amount of brutality, particularly against women, as I say. But it is sad to see. It is really, really sad to see. So I would say to anybody who is experiencing domestic violence, etc., don't put up with it. Simple as that. Don't put up with it. You'll get out of it. Simple as I know it sounds easy, but don't sit there out of loyalty. That's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people do feel like they're supposed to be loyal, etc. Don't. If you're getting abused, attacked, etc., don't put up with it. You're better than that. You have better opportunities in life than that. Than putting up with that. Nobody should have to put up with that in the modern age. And the simple reality is this: how bad they are. It's all about reaching out, etc. But the simple reality is that a lot of it is bureaucracy, etc. The same with everything in this country. But as I say, it is a very worrying statistic. It is really very worrying. the sheer level of brutality, etc. Against women particularly, as I say, but just the sheer that a lot of women feel there's no way out in a lot of cases, and that's just the sad part of it. But it's something that we do need to address as society, because it is a stain on our society. It is an absolute stain on our society that the level of violence at home, etc., against women particularly, it's a stain on our society. And we must do everything in the society, even as individuals, etc., to you're supposed to be more respectful, be more mindful, I suppose, in the way too. I know people can get angry, people can always get angry, we can get into fights and stuff, that's human nature, of course. But, it shouldn't happen every day, it shouldn't happen every hour, it shouldn't happen every minute. And it's all just about, looking for the signs, and it's all about just trying to calm down a bit too, because I know a lot of people are tense, especially with money situations, as I say, about children. There's many other situations, as I said, we'll be here for next Christmas talking about every specific situation. But do let me know what you take, as I say, but it is something that we do need to talk about. I don't think it's talked about enough. And especially, we call ourselves far-right extremists, etc. here. Such a thing to say, but long story short, we always say about protecting women, etc. We have to protect women. We have to look at it. I think the one behind me said it best, that women can support themselves, but they need men's support. They need men to support them too, in their actions, etc., and what they do in life, etc. They need to support, the same as a man needs a woman's support. It works both ways. It's the same in a relationship. You need each other, basically. You're supposed to be a partner. You're supposed to be in it together. It works both ways, and that's just a simple thing. And I think Sandra Moran is correct in that assumption, and she's deadly correct, as I say. But yeah, she's 100% correct. I say that's the best way to put it. But yeah, I agree 100%. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, do let me know, as I say. But as I say, do keep an eye out for your friends, for your family, etc., because they shouldn't have to put up with it. And a lot of them are scared to say anything. But it's all about making that first step, and the first step is the hardest step into getting away from that abuse. Let me know what you think. Subscribe more. Bye.